Today we're going to learn about frequency tables. Our objective is I can create a frequency table when given a set of data. Here's a little picture of what a frequency table looks like. Our definition of a frequency table. A frequency table is a table used to show the number of times something occurs. This can be used to gather our data. So we're needed to show the number of times something occurs. The parts of the table here are, we have our title on the top part of the table. We're going to then put the name of what's happening, little tally marks. And when I mean tally marks, we're talking about little marks here. When we get to 4, we put our next markers across. And the frequency, we're going to actually total up those tallies. Next slide here, we'll see an example of a frequency table and talk about it here. Here's a frequency table for a dice rolled 20 times. You can see on this side over here, you have the number, which is the numbers on the dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The next column here, we have the tally marks. So we can see the 1 had, we put tallies every time the 1 rolled. We put a tally, little dash, every time the 2 rolled, and the 3, and the 4, and the 5, and the 6. Keeping track as I'm going through, collecting the data. Once all the data has been collected, then I go to my last column here, the frequency column, and I total up the number of tallies I have. So for number 1, I had 4 tallies. For number 2, we had 5 tallies. For number 3, right, we had 3 tallies, and we tally those up. This is a way to gather information, present it, that we might then use it later on in a graph of some sort, or we might just gather it here and use it to answer questions from here. I can figure out which number was most likely to be rolled here. Well, we can see the 2 rolled 5 times. It's bigger than any of the other numbers. Which number rolled the least amount of times? Well, the 5 here only rolled 2 times. So that was the least amount. So we can use this to answer some questions we might have. We can use this type of graph then to make a bar graph or a line or circle graph, right, to gather the data and put it in a way that we can use it later. So this has 2 uses, either to display data for us to use right away, or to collect data and organize it so that we can make a graph later on. We're going to go ahead and make a frequency table here. Can I go over the steps here? So here the Lady Smithies scored the following number of goals in their last 20 soccer matches. We have the numbers there. First thing we need to do is we need to make our graph and title it. So we'll title this one Lady Smithies Soccer Scores. Next we're going to go ahead and put in the headings here on each column. I'm going to put in the number of goals, because that's what I'm going to put over on this side over here. I'm going to put how many goals, starting with the least amount and going down to the most amount of goals they scored in the game. And then I'll put the tallies over here, how many for each kind, and then the frequency, I'll add up those tallies. So here I put in the number of goals. They scored 0 goals sometimes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 was the most amount of goals they scored. So now we're going to go through our list of numbers on the top, and we can tally them up. I'm just going to start right in the beginning so I don't skip any. So I have a 3, so there's 1, 3, put a tally there, a 0, a 1, 5, 4, 3, 2, 6, 4, there. You can see I'm just going right in order. If you need to, you can cross them out as you're going. I'm all the way up to this 4 up here. Right? 2, 3, another 3, 0, there's 7, a 1, actually 2 1s, 2, another 3, makes 5, I'm going to go across it, 4, and another 3. So there is my data and tallies. I got it in the graph, and I can count it up. There were 2 times they scored 0 goals, 3 times they scored 1, 3 times they scored 2. There were 6 times they scored 3 goals, 3 times they scored 4. There were 5 once, 6 once, and 7 once. So now that we have this data, we can then take it and we can make, a bar graph or some sort of other graph to represent that. We can just look at it right here. And we can kind of see through this information, it looks like this is kind of more popular. They score usually between 1 to 4 goals. Right? They don't score much more than 4 goals very often. And there's a couple times where they score 0, but that might be just against a really good team they played twice. So most of the time, looks like they scored between 1 to 4 goals. You can use this information, like I said, right from the graph, or you could use this information to create another graph. Now, we're going to do your homework, your questions here a little differently than we have in the past, because I cannot get these graphs put into those questions that we've had. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have a question posted up here. You're going to look through here. You get the question, you get the graph to go to and get the information from. And you're going to answer the question then on the right side as normal, right, filling in the answer to these questions. Right? So Raymond did a survey of the number of pets owned by his classmates with the following results. So we have the frequency table over there. Number 1 is how many of his classmates had less than 3 pets. You can pause this video if you want more time here to work on this to answer this question. You may want to minimize the screen so you can look back and forth at the question and where you're going to be filling in your answers. Question 2, what number of pets was most popular in Raymond's class? A is 1, B is 2, C is 5, D is 1. You can pause this and answer the question. And number 3, what would be a good title for this frequency table? A, Ramon's pets, B, number of classmates, C, number of pets owned, D, types of pets owned most. We will then discuss this briefly in class, and you guys will do your practice worksheet on frequency tables tomorrow. I'll see you then.